I don't know who you are. I don't know your company. I don't know your company's product. I don't know what your company stands for. I don't know your company's customers. I don't know your company's record. I don't know your company's reputation. Now, what was it you wanted to sell me? This advertisement from 1958 is actually an advertisement for an advertising agency, highlights particularly this sort of principle in market research that we're going to be going through in this video. And that's going to be the customer awareness and the market sophistication. So let's just jump right into it. First, you're going to start off with the 3 stages of customer awareness. So this is just, what does the customer know? Where is he in his journey of knowing about the product or not knowing about the product, and what you should do in each of those stages. So it's basically going to be the run through. We're going to go through what each stage is of customer awareness and which stage is of market sophistication, and then what to do in each of those situations. So let's start off 3 stages of customer awareness. Stage number 1 is going to be the most aware. So the prospect knows all about your product, knows that they want it, and they just need a little bit more of a push or a reminder to actually go ahead and make the purchase. So what you're going to do in a situation like this, when the customer is the most aware of the product and wants it, all you have to do is provide some sort of incentive. Usually it's going to be monetary, is an offer in your headline when you're creating your ad, right? So you're just going to give them a little sale, a little offer, free shipping. One always does very well. Throw in a little bit of a gift in there, whatever it may be. That's all you're going to have to do when you're dealing with this most aware stage of the customer awareness. And that's, of course, usually going to be bottom funnel sort of advertising. Number 2, second stage, is going to be they're aware of the product, but they don't really know whether they want it yet. So the prospect knows about the product, but isn't fully convinced that this is the one to get, this is the brand to buy, that it really works, that it's worth the money, right? I mean, you're in that stage of deciding whether it's worth it or not. So what to do in that situation? You're going to have the brand and the product name in the headline itself, and the copy of this ad is just going to admit its superiority, right? So you're going to fortify the claims and the promises and the solutions to the problems, and you're really just going to highlight why they should buy from your brand, right? Why it really is the best on the market. And for the third stage of customer awareness, this is going to be that they are not aware at all of either the product, or they're not even aware that they have the problem that the product promises to solve, right? So we're going to look at like the 2 different ways to go about solving this solution. So A, the prospect knows the problem or desire that he has and just doesn't know that there is a product that solves it yet. So he is aware the problem is at the forefront of his mind. He's actually like run into the problem often enough to think, wow, I would really like if there was something to solve that, right? But he doesn't know there is one. What you're going to do in that situation in your copy is you're going to name the problem or the desire, and introduce the solution in the headline. That's going to be the first thing that the prospect is going to see. All right, option B, the prospect is not aware of the problem or the desire yet. It needs to be brought up from his subconscious. So he does have the problem, right? If you're targeting the correct demographic and the correct market, then they do have this problem. They're just not aware of it enough. So in this instance, what you're going to want to do is you're going to actually crystallize that desire and that need in a way that they've never been able to like put it into words before. They're going to finally realize that this is actually a problem that they do have. You're almost going to, it's like stabbing them and then like turning the knife a little bit and just like showing them that there is a pain, there is something that they want, something that they do desire. You're going to do that in a very clear, crystallized way. And of course, you're going to need it to do it in a way that's like very voice matching to the demographic, right? so that that prospect recognizes that he is the type of person that is being called out by this ad. So those are the three types of customer awareness, the three stages: completely aware, not quite sure if they want to go for your brand yet, or completely unaware. All right, so this is important when you're writing like headlines, copy, when you're developing angles. This is all the typical top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel sort of stuff. Now we're going to jump into market sophistication. And market sophistication is extremely important when you're first starting doing your market research. So whether you are an advertiser, whether you are a copywriter like myself, or even if you're the owner of a brand or a company, it is very important to know what stage the market is at for your particular brand or product. This is essential. It is one of the principles that builds on the sort of angle development, the ads that you're going to be showing, and really it's going to determine the success of your ads in a very big way. So let's jump into the 5 stages of market sophistication. Number 1 is the pioneer level, really easy to remember. It's basically like number 1, you are the number 1, you're the first person in the market. So that means that your product is brand new, customer has not heard of or ever seen anything like it before. It's pretty rare to be in this stage nowadays especially, but it can happen. So what to do in this situation? First, you're going to place the need of the claim directly in the headline. You're going to be simple and direct, right? You want to call to mind, once again, you want to call to mind the problem, and then you're going to introduce your product. Second is now you're actually at the stage where you are not the first in the market. There are other products like yours, and so this is getting into the competitive stage. So the brand has competition. It offers similar or even the same product. What are you going to do in this situation? Well, now your claims are not just going to be simple. It's not just going to be, oh, here's this new thing and it solves this problem, right? Now you're going to actually need to make some bigger and bolder claims that are going to prove the superiority of your product over the competitors. So you are going to keep your original claim that is so important, and you're just going to enlarge upon it. Number 3, making the old product new. So now the market is becoming more and more saturated with similar products and similar claims. So this is kind of going further on the competitive, and you're building from that second stage. You're going to continue making bigger and better claims, and now they also need to be backed up with the how, right? So you're making these big claims. That was sufficient in the second stage of market sophistication, but now in the third stage, you're actually going to need to provide some proof of how and why your product is so much better than the competition's. What to do is you're going to be backing up your claims, like I said, showing really the product features, how the product actually works to achieve the promised benefits, and you're creating a new mechanism, so a new term. This is really like a good example of this that a lot of people know about is the Lucky Strikes during the time when all the cigarettes companies, right, they couldn't talk about health claims anymore or whatever. Shout out to the Mad Men episode that really shows this well. And they came up with the new mechanism saying it's toasted, right? So all the tobacco is toasted, whatever, but Lucky Strikes beat the competition by coming up with their new mechanism, their wording, it's toasted, their tagline, right? And that was what made their product new. So, great example of third market sophistication advertising. Number 4 is the Cold War, the embellishment stage. So that means competition between the product and the competitors is fierce. So as you can see, kind of like building, it's like first stage, there's no competition, and then the competition goes up and up. And basically the prospect or the consumer is becoming more and more wary as the competition goes up. So embellishment on what makes the product or the mechanism stand out and above the competition. So this is like the fourth stage is actually quite similar to the second stage. You're going back to embellishing on bolder claims. And what to do is, yep, like I said, you're going to be exaggerating on the claims and the new mechanism that you created in the third phase, or you're just going to create a completely new mechanism that is still legitimate and believable to the market. This stage is really just reiterating on what makes your product the best and still like providing just these newer words, newer terms, just new, right? That's the whole thing. And reiterating, recapitulating on those mechanisms that you're terming, like it's toasted. Lastly, the fifth stage is the storytelling, the identification stage. This is the um, this is the highest level of market sophistication, where it becomes the hardest to really sell, right? So the market is so oversaturated with products of this type, and they're very wary of their big claims and promises. So now what's needed is you need to draw a connection from the brand to the customer through the identification process. And that's just one of the solutions. Basically, the fifth stage of market sophistication, you need to get really very creative about your angles and how you're approaching coming to the customer. This is where the promises become a little bit larger than life. And usually these angles are much more lifestyle oriented rather than product focused, right? So another cigarette example, right, for this is going to be the Marlboro Man, the cowboy. So basically, they needed something to break out of this fifth market level sophistication to really up their sales to stand above the rest. And so they came up with this idea of the cowboy, the Marlboro Man, right? So it's like very much a lifestyle identification. The person who smokes the cigarettes, right? It's like, what cigarettes are they going to choose? Well, they're going to choose the cigarettes that the manliest man smokes, right? So it's like, once again, feeding into the correct market demographic, what that market wants, what their big desires, lifestyle, right? Everything that they're oriented towards. So in that case, it was manliness. So then, of course, like what Marlboro did was they just made it so that you think and you're tied to this idea that if you smoke Marlboro, then you are manly, right? So pretty simple like that. This one of the examples above, like, I mean, among many, right? Think like Nike, think any sort of like big brands, big outdoor brands that use NFL pro athletes to represent their clothing, right? All of this is just the identification process. It's leading people in. They're not just buying the product, they're buying the lifestyle that they're being promised, that they're being shown through the advertising, that you can attain through the product, right? Or this sort of person wears this, and I want to be this sort of person, so I'm going to wear that, right? Pretty simple enough, straightforward, but yeah. So, like I said, kind of to recapitulate and to summarize here, you really need to know your market when you're in the fifth stage of market sophistication, and you need to call out that specific market in your headline, who they are, who they want to be. Also, in this fifth stage, like you're going to, once again, it's like storytelling, you're going to want to share a lot of stories from other customers and really just putting forth that brand vision in your copy. So there you have it. Those are the three stages of customer awareness and the five stages of market sophistication. Honestly, they're pretty simple, pretty straightforward, easy to remember. Of course, what becomes a little bit more difficult is actually putting them into action and how you're going to uniquely use it in every situation, right? With any product, with any brand. And there are some great examples, like I mentioned, if you even just look at the cigarette industry, but there are tons of industries like that. Look at the shoe industry, look at the outdoor fitness, everything, right? So go ahead and search for your own like examples, the best companies, the companies that you know, you think of, and you tend to buy from all the time, right? They have this down to a T. They have it on lock. So really important, these principles. We include it personally, like my creative team with Odelic Media, we include this as a essential part to our market research, to really be able to like develop the exact angles, the exact sort of copy and creative that you're going to want, right? At whatever level of market sophistication you're going to be in. And that's definitely not like the market sophistication is not stagnant. It is constantly moving. Even just in the course of advertising with one client, you'll find that these stages are just progressing all the time. So it's always good to just have these principles in place so that everything that you build upon them will be strong, right? With good foundations. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. And of course, just leave any comments below if there are any questions. Yeah, thanks for watching.